Hey there, and welcome to today's Explainer. We are going to unpack something truly fascinating today. We're looking at a very gentle, totally approachable guide to Rudolf Steiner's 6 basic exercises. If you're someone who is just starting out on your personal spiritual journey, really just consider this your companion's roadmap. I'll be your guide as someone who has studied this stuff, and we're going to break it all down together, step by step, to make these profound concepts completely accessible and grounding.
Now, you might be looking at this and thinking, I have absolutely zero time for spiritual growth. And let's be honest, right? The modern world is completely chaotic. Between work, family, and the constant pinging of notifications on our phones, sitting down with a dense, intimidating spiritual text feels kind of impossible for most of us. You probably feel like you just don't have the hours in the day to dedicate to a deep esoteric practice. And we're all up against some very common beginner struggles. Things like constantly forgetting to practice daily, or feeling totally spiritually disconnected while you're just, doing the laundry or commuting, letting your entire day run completely on autopilot, and, of course, lacking those elusive hours of free time for deep meditation. So if any of this sounds like you, I want to validate that right now. These hurdles are totally normal. You aren't failing. You're just busy. So let's look at a really practical solution.
Which brings us to Section 1, a gentle spiritual beginning, or the soul workout for busy lives. There is just this profound grace hidden in our source material, and it essentially says, if you forget to do it one day, don't worry about it. Tomorrow is another day. Just keep going. Let's normalize failure right out of the gate. Honestly, early burnout happens when we demand absolute perfection from ourselves. So we're going to take a forgiving, almost humorous approach to building this new habit. Simple, manageable goals. That's the secret.
So what exactly are we doing here? Well, we are embarking on a soul workout, and it is literally just a 5-minute daily practice. The goal is to train the 3 pillars of your soul: your thinking, your willing, and your feeling. Try to imagine your soul as this intricate clockwork mechanism. Right now, those gears might be spinning entirely on autopilot, just reacting to whatever the day throws at you. These exercises are how we sync those gears up and take back conscious control.
Moving on to Section 2, taming your wandering thoughts, the pencil exercise.
So for this first pillar, thinking, we use object focus. Step 1, pick a completely boring object: a pencil, a paperclip, maybe a hair tie around your wrist. Step 2, for just 5 minutes, focus your entire attention on it. Describe it out loud. Step 3, ask questions. What's it made of? Where did the materials actually come from? How was it manufactured? By focusing on something incredibly mundane for just 5 minutes, you're building immense inner firmness. You're basically training your mind to think objectively on command.
And here is why this matters so much. We believe we think, but often our thinking is entirely automatic. We are being thought. Try the pencil exercise, and you will quickly realize how easily the mind wanders. You look at the pencil, which reminds you of your grandmother, who had a pet bird, and suddenly, boom, you're thinking about birdseed. Interrupt those associations. Bring it back to the pencil. This proves exactly why it's absolutely crucial to take manual control of your mental gears. Section 3, taking back your will. Meaningless actions, massive returns. Let's compare autopilot action against conscious action. Autopilot is mindlessly scrolling your phone, or maybe grabbing a bowl of peanuts in the kitchen simply because you saw someone eating them on TV. You didn't initiate that will, your environment did. Conscious action, on the other hand, is choosing to water a plant at exactly 3:10 p.m. Or, as one mother from our sources shared, deliberately overpronouncing the letter T every time she reads a specific book to her toddler. It's an insignificant movement or action, sure, but because you willed it into existence from your own inner initiative, it pulls you powerfully back into the present moment. Now, people really struggle with this because they simply forget to do their planned action. So here are some hacks. The best one is connecting exercises to daily life transitions to build consistent, lasting habits. Tie it to getting on a train or right after dinner. Set your specific micro goal in the morning. Keep it simple, keep it fast, and most importantly, visualize yourself doing it ahead of time. If you picture yourself at 3:10 p.m. walking over to that plant, you are much more likely to actually remember when the time comes. I absolutely love this quote from Jupe de Noyle. My energy comes to me from the things I finish. There's this surprising, wonderful burst of vitality and autonomy that comes from successfully completing a self-assigned task, no matter how tiny or seemingly meaningless it is. You're proving to yourself, hey, my will can act completely independently of the outside world. All right, Section 4. Balancing the emotional pendulum. Observing without suppressing.
The goal here is equanimity, and that means retaining your composure in the face of joy and sorrow. It's about discovering a balanced center without actually eradicating the feelings themselves. You're basically acting as a calm observer to your own emotional reactions. Because we bounce between extremes all day long, don't we? On one side, ecstatic, blinding joy, or exploding in anger and swearing at traffic. On the far other side, deep despair, or completely suppressing your frustration. Equanimity is that stabilizing force right in the middle. It's calm observation. It's acknowledging the trigger without letting it hijack your entire soul. A highly practical tip for beginners here is to notice your physical triggers. When you get frustrated, do you bite your lip? Do you rub your face or clench your jaw? Look, your task for this exercise isn't to deeply psychoanalyze yourself. It's simply to catch those physical nervous habits as they happen. Just stop, acknowledge the feeling, and then continue your day. That little gap of observation, that is exactly where equanimity lives.
Section 5. Positivity and open minds. Seeing the hidden good. These two attitudes can literally transform your worldview. First, positivity. This means actively finding the hidden good in a bad situation and consciously restraining your immediate, automatic criticism. Second, open-mindedness. The sources advise literally erasing the phrase, "I don't believe that," from your mental vocabulary. No way, right? But you have to trust that every new moment can contradict your past experiences. By choosing to see the positive and remaining open, we prevent our minds from becoming imprisoned by rigid habits and past judgments. And finally, Section 6, harmonizing the unified self, bringing the gears together. Notice the balance here. Thinking, willing, and feeling are all basically equal. The ultimate goal of Steiner's exercises is not to separate these functions forever, but to weave them into a beautiful harmony. Eventually, the individual practices merge into one smooth operation, where our thoughts, our actions, and our emotions operate as a unified, fully conscious whole. So how do you actually start doing this without getting overwhelmed? Here is your highly actionable beginner's roadmap. Step 1. Try one exercise a day for 6 days just to get a feel for what they are. Step 2. Once you're familiar, focus deeply on one exercise per week. Step 3. Do not stress if you mess up. Keep your sense of humor. If you forget your 3:10 p.m. plant watering, just laugh, go do it at 4 p.m. and try again tomorrow. Always remember, this is a companion's roadmap. It's meant to keep you grounded while you explore these spiritual ideas. Small investments of just 5 minutes a day yield a massive return in inner freedom. These might seem like incredibly mundane acts, staring at a hair tie, pausing before you swear, watering a plant, but they are profound, practical steps toward true spiritual grounding. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Today, you are likely going to do 100 things on complete autopilot. You'll scroll, you'll snack, you'll react. Out of all that noise, what is the one thing you will do entirely on purpose? Choose it right now, set your time, and take back your inner clockwork. Thank you so much for joining me on this Explainers, and I will see you next time as we continue to unpack the world around us.